Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Corina, and today I have a completely different style of video to share with you guys for Money Monday. I was thinking about what I wanted to share today and was thinking a lot about our budget and the numbers that we share with you guys and kind of just our history of sharing what our family's budget looks like on this channel, and I decided I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a little bit more information and to really have an in-depth look at how we allocate our money and what we actually spend throughout a month. Now, I'm going to be using some budget forms from Dave Ramsey's website. These are the FPU budget forms. They are free to download, so you can download them, you can print them out, and use them as your own budgeting spreadsheet if you'd like. This is not a tool that I normally use, so I'm going to be using my Every Dollar app that has our budget actually written out by category as well to fill in these areas. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll share with you guys a little bit more about what we'll be doing today with our budget. Alright friends, so I have two different forms here. The first one is the Quick Start Budget, which basically goes over your budget kind of in a brief sense. So at the top here it has charity, where you'd put your tithes, then savings for your emergency fund or other savings, housing, so mortgage or rent, second mortgage, real estate taxes, repair, maintenance, homeowners and renters insurance. Then we move down to utilities, which are electricity, gas, water, trash, phone or mobile, internet and cable. And then up at the top here on this second side, we have food for groceries, clothing, we have adults and children, transportation, car payment. There's two places for car payments, gas and oil, repairs and tires, auto insurance, and then in the personal category, we have life insurance, health insurance, disability insurance, child care or sitter, entertainment, and then two places to put other. And then you want to put a total as well here at the bottom. So for these things, there's actually next to some of these are little envelopes. So there, as you guys can see, groceries has a little envelope next to it. So that's one thing that you would want to put in a cash envelope. And it also has these little prompts along the forms also. So this one here says these icons represent good options for cash envelopes. And it also gives you tips for how to fill out the forms. So right here it says add up the budgeted column and enter here for each category. So basically for charity, there's only one space in charity, so that's where you'd put the total. But for savings, there's two different line items here. So at the bottom of the savings box, there's a little box here for you to put the total. So this Quick Start Budget is a really great place to start if you've never written out a budget, if you're really just getting started and you want something that's simple and going to be easy to do, not super overwhelming. I would definitely recommend starting here. And this is really a very good overview. This is something that I would even use for us, and then keep track of things like our sinking funds and things like that in our budget notebook. So the other form that I have is called the Monthly Cash Flow Plan. It's actually two different forms, and it goes into much greater depth than the Quick Start Budget does, but it also has pretty much the same categories. So starting at the front here, charity, saving, housing, utilities, food, clothing, transportation, medical, and health. The next sheet has insurance, personal, so lots of different envelope items here, and then another place for recreation, which has entertainment and vacation, and then a place to put your debts. So I think for most people, these are the forms that you would actually use to create your budget, really ironed out, all of the details, especially as you're in baby step 2, listing out what your debts are, and things like that. And this is also really beneficial, I think, for the personal category here because it gives you spaces for a pocket money section. It gives you places for a furniture replace fund. It gives you a place for education and tuition fund, cosmetics fund, things like that. So if you have more sinking funds and or you have more debts or you just have more things than would actually be on the Quick Start Budget, this is definitely going to be your go-to planning, budgeting sheet here. So I decided to go ahead and use this form to share with you guys our monthly budget. So the two things that I'm not going to be sharing is what we, our income, so what we make each month, and then our tithes or our charity. So I'm not going to be filling in this top section here. We do give tithes and we do give like charitable donations and things like that, but I think those things are pretty private, so I'm not going to share those. But let's go ahead and get started with everything else, and I'm just going to go through and fill in things throughout the form here. And I'm going to use my Every Dollar app as well. Okay guys, so for the savings column here, I just put a 0 through that because we're not allocating anything towards savings. I forgot to mention this, but this is actually going off of our August budget. So this is kind of like an August budget recap in a sense as well, so you guys can kind of see what we did in August. So moving on to our housing categories here. So that one's really simple. We just have one basically item to go in there. It's just our rent, and our rent does include water, sewer, and garbage as well. So we're going to move on to the utilities section, which we have quite a few utilities. So for our electricity, we did 95. For gas, we had 25. Water is included in our rent, so I just put a little included there, and trash is as well. For mobile phone, we do $100. Internet, I'm going to split these up, internet and cable. I'm going to use internet for our Comcast payment, which, is 75. And then cable, I'm going to cross that out and put Hulu because that's pretty much what we use, and that is just $13. Okay, so that total is $308. And then let's move on up to our food category with our groceries. Sorry guys, I zoomed in a little bit. I wasn't sure if you could see our numbers here. So like I said, I just crossed out cable and put Hulu, added a 13 there. So our total for this category, utilities, is $308. And then I'm going to move on to the food category. So for groceries we had $300. And then the next item here is restaurants. I'm going to use that as like our pizza fund, which we allocate $30 towards that. So altogether we have $330 for food. For clothing, we just use a clothing sinking fund. So basically we just put $30 into our sinking fund for clothing each month, and that covers pretty much everyone. So any clothing needs we have, we will use that. The next one's going to be transportation, so gas and oil. Each month we budget $200 for gas. We do have a couple of sinking funds. So here we have an item or line item for repairs and tires, which we would use our car our car maintenance fund for. Where'd it go? That's weird. Which is $30 as well. Then our license and taxes, that one we have a separate fund for also. We put $33 a month into that one. And then that's really it as far as our car. We have a place for, we have a place for insurance on the other side. So I'm going to total up this column, which brings us to $263 for that one. So we're going to move on to the next category, which is medical and health. Let's see. We honestly very rarely go to like the doctor. So we have our medical sinking fund. So what I'm going to put is use the medications line for the medical sinking fund, which that is $40 that we budget towards that. We do also purchase vitamins, but that's really like every other month pretty much, and we'll basically just pull from that fund. So nothing too crazy there. Thankfully, we're all in pretty good health, so not too bad. So $40, which goes into a sinking fund for us for that one. We do also have, let's see here. All right, so the next category is insurance, which our insurance is basically through my employer for the most part. So we don't have any line items to add here because it's already taken out pre-tax. However, we do have renter's insurance, which our renter's insurance is $15. And then we also have auto insurance, which right now is All right, guys, so that's it as far as insurance goes. Just $15 for renters, $145 for a car, so a total of $160 here. So the next section is pretty long. It's the personal section, and it has quite a few categories. So we don't have childcare or sitter, so we're not going to put anything for that one. For toiletries, we will put our personal care item fund right there. So personal items, we allocate $60. Let's see. Okay, so for the toiletries, I'm actually going to use this as our household items, which we allocate $60 towards each month. And then for cosmetics and hair, that's basically going to be like our personal items fund, which is also $60. For education and tuition, we don't have anything for that one. We don't have anything for books or supplies or child support or alimony. For subscriptions, we do have our shakes that we get. We just got one in August, so our total for that one was $107. Organization dues, let's see, do we have anything for that one? Oh yes, our organization dues would be our Beachbody payment, which is about $16. So the next line here we have is gifts, which it says includes Christmas. So we do separate funds for Christmas and birthday. So I'm just going to put our Christmas sinking fund here, which we've been doing $50. Replace furniture fund, we don't have anything for that one. Pocket money for my husband and I is $50 as well. Baby supplies, I'm going to put our little fund that we're just kind of starting to fund for that one there, which is also $50. Pet supplies will be Kiki's like vet that we put money towards, which we do $20 each month for that. Music and technology, we actually don't have really anything for that one. Let's see, so we'll skip that one. So I'm going to skip miscellaneous also, but let's do actually, okay, so for miscellaneous, I'm going to put our teenager because we do put a little bit of money aside for him in case he needs things throughout the month. And then, let's see, the other thing I wanted to add was birthdays, because we do have a separate fund for like birthdays and holiday gifts and things like that. So for that one we have $30 allocated, and then the last other column we're going to put our weddings that we've been funding towards, which we've been funding $60 a month towards those. So then we'll add everything up for this column. Okay, so all of that altogether is $653 for that whole category there. That's quite a big one, but it covers a couple of different things. It's not just our sinking funds that equal that amount. Like I said, it's a couple of other items in there. So the next section we have is our recreation. So for recreation, we really just categorize that as like for our dates, which our date nights, we get $60 a month for those guys. And that is really it. We're not funding a vacation at all right now, so our total is going to be $60 for that one. And then the very last column is our debts. So the only thing we have is a car payment right now, which is $300. And then we do have that last credit card, but we don't make a monthly payment on that right now. We're just kind of throwing everything else we got at it. So that is going to be it. Which, that's really fun to put a big old line through that section. So, let's see. Alright guys, so at the bottom here, we have 3 different places. So once you have your totals for all of your categories, you want to go through and put your income up here at the top. And then you want to put in this next section the total for all of your expenses. And you subtract your expenses from your income, and you should end up with a number here. What you want to do is get this number to 0. So if you do this equation and you realize, oh my gosh, we have an extra $400. Okay, where are we going to put that $400? Well, maybe we'll put $100 aside for XYZ, and then we'll put the other $300 towards our smallest debt or towards our emergency fund, or whatever it may be, whatever your family's goal is at the time. And then eventually you want to get this down so that it is at 0. So every single dollar that you have gets a name. Within your expenses, you may want to add like a small buffer to your checking account, just to make sure that because you are zero basing your budget, sometimes like something may come out a little bit sooner than you expect. So having a little bit of a buffer, we generally keep $100, helps to alleviate some of that and to avoid like an overdraft fee, because you definitely don't want that, but you do want to be able to give every single dollar that comes into your family's household a name. So that is going to be the extent of what your kind of total and budget comes to. So let's look at our totals as far as our expenses here. All right, guys, so our total expenses come to $3,459. And so basically when we are putting aside or building our emergency fund, what we will look at are what are our bare necessities, what are our absolute minimum, like bare minimum needs that we have. We would subtract out, obviously we'd be done paying off our debt, so we wouldn't have that. We would not include the sinking fund items in that. We wouldn't include things like recreation. We would include insurance, obviously, because you still have to pay your insurance. We wouldn't include things like the clothing fund or probably a pizza fund. We do very bare minimum groceries and things like that. Pretty much everything else would be the same, but that would be like very bare minimum as far as just paying for monthly expenses. So the great thing about this is that once you have this figured out, you will be able to be so much more confident and comfortable in what you're doing with your budget and with the rest of the money that you have. This has been so helpful for us to see what is going out and what our absolute like zero number is as far as needing income wise. So that's been very beneficial for us. The other thing that I would say is just what I kind of just said with putting aside your emergency fund once you get to baby step 3. This really helps you to know exactly what you need to just live for 1 month, like not go out on a date, not fund your clothing fund or plan for an oil change, but just to live, right? And so those things like your sinking funds, you wouldn't be funding those if you were in an emergency situation. You would just be paying for groceries, getting back and forth to work if you were working, or if not, if like say you lost your job, you'd be driving back and forth to interviews and things like that. So just having this information and knowing what your budget looks like and how your budget is changing as you're just really just moving through life is helpful to see and to really be able to understand what your money is doing and where you need to make changes and what you can adjust in order to accommodate your goals of your family. So that is all I have for you guys today. Hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. I will link these forms below. Like I said, they're free. You can just download them, print them out from Dave Ramsey's website. So I'll have that link below in the description box. I would love to know what is one budget tool that you love to use. So definitely let me know in a comment. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Have an amazing week and happy Labor Day.